Most people don't realize their refrigerator is actually making vegetables spoil faster. Hi everyone, it's Tracy. I don't know if your home is like mine, but in the past, the vegetables in my refrigerator would wilt, turn soft, and sometimes even become moldy and rotten very easily, especially the leftover pieces hiding in the corners of the fridge. Every time I cleaned out the refrigerator, I had to throw away quite a lot, and it honestly felt like such a waste. So today I'm going to share a few simple ways to help keep vegetables fresh longer in the refrigerator, keep everything more organized, and also help your fridge stay cleaner and reduce musty odors. Let's get started. Before getting started, take everything out of the refrigerator first so you can clean it properly. Next, prepare a natural cleaning solution using lemon. Take 1 lemon, cut it in half, and squeeze the lemon juice into a bowl. Then add a little warm water and stir the mixture together well. Now take a kitchen towel, dip it into the solution, and gently wipe every corner and shelf inside the refrigerator. The lemon mixture helps remove refrigerator odors very well, helps get rid of any stains left inside the fridge, while also gently reducing bacteria and creating a natural fresh scent inside the refrigerator. After everything has been cleaned, simply use a dry towel to wipe everything once more until completely clean. Now that the refrigerator is clean, you can safely start storing your fruits and vegetables. First, let's sort the different types of produce you have into groups so they can be stored the right way. First are herbs and leafy vegetables like green onions, dill, celery, and lettuce. These are vegetables with soft leaves that lose moisture very easily, and the most important thing is to keep the right amount of moisture without letting them become too wet or too dry. First, after bringing them home, remove any bruised or yellow leaves. Then wash the vegetables with water and let them dry completely. This is a very important step because leftover moisture is exactly what causes vegetables to rot quickly in the refrigerator. You can spread the vegetables out on a clean towel for about 15 to 20 minutes to air dry naturally. Next, prepare a few sheets of dry paper towels or a clean kitchen towel. Lightly wrap the stems and leaves of the lettuce and celery so the towel can absorb excess moisture during storage. Then place the vegetables into an airtight container or zip-top bag, but do not seal it completely. Leave a small opening so a little air can circulate. For green onions and dill, you need to keep the root area slightly moist so they can absorb water and help keep the stalks and leaves greener and fresher. Simply dip a paper towel into a bowl of water, squeeze out the extra water, then wrap it around the root ends. One important thing to remember is not to leave the towel too wet, because that can make your vegetables soggy and spoil faster. After wrapping them, place them into a zip-top bag. Close the bag and leave one small corner slightly open so the green onions and celery can breathe. Then place everything into the refrigerator. This method helps the vegetables stay fresh and crisp much longer. Also try to keep soft, leafy vegetables in a separate section inside the refrigerator and avoid placing them near fruits like pears or guavas, because the ethylene gas from the fruit will make the vegetables turn yellow and spoil faster. Next is the group of firm vegetables like zucchini, cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, and peppers. Compared to soft, leafy vegetables, this group is easier to store and can stay fresh quite a long time in the refrigerator drawer if you avoid letting too much moisture build up on them. First, for this group of vegetables, you should not wash them right away if you are not using them yet, to help reduce leftover moisture on the surface, which can make them soften and spoil faster. It's best to simply wipe off any dirt gently with a dry towel or clean paper towel. Next, use dry paper towels to lightly wrap each type of vegetable to absorb excess moisture during storage. For cucumbers and zucchini, these are two vegetables that become soft and slimy very easily if the temperature is too cold or too humid. Then place them into a paper bag or storage container and gently fold the top of the bag closed. Leave a small opening so air can circulate better. Next, place them in the vegetable drawer instead of close to the back wall of the refrigerator, because the area near the back is usually colder. Do the same thing with carrots, but if they still have long, leafy tops attached, trim them down a little because the leaves will continue pulling moisture from the carrots, causing them to wilt faster. Then wrap them with plastic wrap and place them in the refrigerator. For cabbage, if you have not used the whole head yet, you can place a piece of dry paper over the cut side, then wrap the entire cabbage tightly with plastic wrap. The paper towel helps absorb excess moisture on the vegetable, reduces moisture loss, and keeps the leaves crisp and fresh. Peppers are quite easy to store. Simply place a layer of dry paper towel at the bottom of a plastic container. Then add the peppers, cover the top with another layer of dry paper towel as a moisture-absorbing layer from above. Then close the lid and place the container onto an upper shelf in the refrigerator. Using this method, your vegetables can stay fresh for at least 1 week, sometimes even longer. However, you should still check this group of vegetables every few days. If you notice anything starting to soften or show signs of spoilage, remove it right away to prevent it from affecting the others. Next is the group of dry root vegetables like onions, potatoes, and ginger. For this group, the most important thing is to keep them dry and avoid too much moisture inside the refrigerator. If they become trapped with moisture or condensation, they can soften, become moldy, or sprout much faster. First, use a newspaper to wrap each type separately. The paper helps absorb excess moisture while still allowing gentle airflow around them. Avoid using completely sealed plastic bags because moisture will stay trapped inside and make the vegetables spoil faster. Next, place them into separate baskets. You can store ginger together with potatoes or onions and place them in the refrigerator. One important thing you need to pay attention to is not placing onions right next to potatoes, because the moisture and gases from onions can cause potatoes to sprout faster. You can place them in 2 separate drawers instead. For leftover onions, you can take a little white vinegar, lightly dip a cotton swab into it, then apply it directly onto the cut surface of the onion before placing it into an airtight container. The vinegar helps slow down bacteria, and mold growth reduces odors and slows down the softening process. Then place it into the refrigerator to use gradually. For guavas and pears, there is a very simple but effective storage method that I really like to use, and that is wrapping them with parchment paper before placing them in the refrigerator. First, choose fruits that are still slightly firm and not bruised. Then use a dry towel to gently wipe the outside to remove any moisture left on the skin. This is a very important step because excess moisture is often what causes fruit to become moldy or mushy more quickly. Next, use individual sheets of parchment paper to wrap each guava or pear separately. The parchment paper helps absorb a little extra moisture from the surface while still allowing natural airflow around the fruit. Because of this, the ethylene gas released by the fruit will not build up too heavily around the skin, helping slow down the ripening process. After wrapping them, simply place them into the refrigerator drawer or a separate fruit drawer. This method helps guavas and pears stay crisp, fresh, and delicious much longer. For fresh corn, you can use aluminum foil to help keep the moisture and natural sweetness of the corn kernels longer in the refrigerator. First, keep the outer husk on the corn, because the husk helps protect the kernels from drying out too quickly. Then use aluminum foil to loosely wrap around each ear of corn. There is no need to wrap it too tightly, just enough to help reduce moisture loss from the cold air. Finally, place the corn into the vegetable drawer in the refrigerator. This method helps the corn stay fresh, juicy, and delicious much longer. And just like that, all your vegetables are now stored safely and you no longer have to worry about them wilting and spoiling so quickly. However, you also need to take care of the shared space inside the refrigerator to help reduce odors and excess moisture, which helps fruits and vegetables stay fresh longer. First, simply take a small lid or a small bowl and add about 2 tablespoons of salt. Then place them in the corners of the refrigerator shelves and inside the corners of the vegetable drawer. Salt has the ability to absorb excess moisture inside the refrigerator, helping prevent vegetables from becoming soggy and developing mold. At the same time, it also helps reduce odors very effectively. In addition, you can also combine paper towels and baking soda. Simply mix about 2 tablespoons of baking soda with a little water to create a slightly thick mixture. Then lightly spread it onto a thick paper towel and place it in the corner of the refrigerator. Baking soda helps absorb odors and moisture very well, while the paper towel helps keep the mixture stable without leaking water. This is a small trick, but it helps keep the refrigerator much drier, cleaner, and fresher. You can use either one of these 2 methods. Your refrigerator will keep the fresh green color of your vegetables longer, not to mention helping reduce odors and prevent bacteria and mold from growing. And those are the simple ways to help you keep fruits and vegetables fresh, longer, reduce mold, and keep your refrigerator clean and organized. With just a few small changes in the way you store food, you can reduce food waste and save quite a bit every week. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more simple and practical kitchen tips.